learn from repetition. But there's something that you want to remember today. You just like stand there. There's something you need to remember, that it doesn't matter what we do, God is able to forgive us. And He's not only able, He's willing. And we want to just tell you a little bit about this story tonight in a little different way. And you go first.
Did you ever get tired of normal, boring, everyday life? Normally in life, your parents die, and they give you an inheritance, and you're sick. That wasn't good for me, though. I wanted something different. So one day I walked up to my dad and said,
I want what's coming to me right now. That's what he said to me. My son, I love him. So what am I going to do? I said, well, if that makes you happy being without me and you think you have a better life, then so be it. So he packed up his clothes and his things, and the next thing I knew,
I was out of there. Kiss this boring place goodbye. I've got places to go, people to see, and so the first thing I did was
get lost about 4 times before he got out of town. There's no Davy Crockett, you know.
No, not 4, it was 3. And one wasn't my fault, I couldn't understand that guy. And if somebody would have taught me how to read a map.
Oh, don't go there.
Point is, I got out of there. I lived it up. Friends, I had all kinds of friends. I ate like a king. Life was good
until the money ran out, and the friends left, and the recession hit.
No work to be found. I tried. I really did. No jobs, but eventually I found a job. It was a manager's position. Okay, it was an assistant. Okay, bacon preparation assistant.
Which means?
I fed pigs. I hate pigs. And it didn't pay much. No money to get a place to live. No money to even eat. Sometimes I was so hungry I'd have eaten the disgusting pig scraps, but they wouldn't let me. So the hunger pains constantly reminded me of how I'd squandered everything my father had given me. I lived in agony day after day.
After day after day. I'd watch and long for my son to come home. My heart would ache as only a parent can for his child. But listen, I never gave up on him. I never gave up. I knew it would happen one day.
One day it hit me. Not the pig. The realization. I realized the lowliness of my father's workers looked better than I did. At least they had food and a place to sleep. I had none of that. And so I wondered.
What if he never comes to his senses? What if his pride gets in his way? No, I won't see him again.
Again and again, this thought ran through my head as I made my way back to my father's house. I knew what I would do. There's no way that I would accept a handout. I wouldn't expect him to take me back as his son, so I'd ask him to hire me as a worker. Maybe he would do that. Just maybe.
Maybe today will be the day that my son will come home. That's what I would say every morning when I woke up. Maybe today will be the day that I'd see him in the distance as he makes his way back home.
Home. That word means many things. Comfort, care, security, love. Home. I couldn't believe it was just a few 100 yards away.
It was a beautiful day. I was sitting on my porch, and that's when I saw him coming into the distance.
He stood up out of his chair, looking in my direction. He squinted his eyes to get a better look, and then I began to wonder, what if he doesn't take me back? What if I get to him and he just looks at me and says,
I told you so. I told you so. I told you he'd be back. Some of you would just roll your eyes every time I mentioned my son, but I told you he would come back. I just knew.
I just knew this was a bad idea. I knew I shouldn't have done this, so I just stopped.
He just stopped. I stood there.
I couldn't move.
I couldn't just stand there, so...
He jumped. My dad literally jumped off the porch. I'd never seen him do that. He was just like a little kid excited about something, and then it hit me. He was excited about me. So you know what I did next?
I ran. My heart was pounding so fast that I just had to get to him.
I never saw him run so fast. He was running at me with his arms stretched out, wide as if to say,
"Welcome home. Welcome home." That's what I kept shouting. But I don't know if he could hear me, so I just kept saying it over and over. All I wanted to do was just scoop him up in my arms like when he was a little child and just let him know everything was going to be all right. As I got closer to him, I could see there were tears running down his face.
He was crying.
Tears of joy. And you know what my son did then?
I jumped. I was nervous. I was excited, and so I just jumped. And you know what my father did?
I fell backward. He's a big boy now.
And then he hugged me and embraced me as only a father can. I kept saying over and over again, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't deserve to be called your son."
My son is back. My son is back. Get him some clean clothes. Give him a meal. No, let's make him a feast. For my son will no longer live like an orphan. Today, all of my hopes have come true.
Hope. I guess it was hope that made me start that journey home. Hope that helped me through all the miles. Hope that my father would take me back and somehow I could be forgiven.
Forgiven. It's all forgiven. And I will never bring it up again. No shame, no guilt. For my son was lost, but now he is found. Let's all stand this morning.